Hey guys, and welcome back. So let's see if we can get him rotated correctly. If we start our project again and take a look at the problem. Actually, let me just do one thing because I don't want to keep jumping down all the way all the time. So one thing I did off screen, off video, was to add a little, let's call it a debug key. So when I press a key, I will make a flip-flop and then set global dilation. I'm going to just type set global time dilation. And I set it to 0.1, which is a low value, and 1 to get it back. So that's going to allow me to play things, and for example, if I press it now, you can see he's in slow motion. And that's going to allow me to see how he's going to react when I press my Ragdoll key. So this is a good way to debug things if you need to. Oops. You can also see if I run around and I go Ragdoll and I fall, and when I then try to get up again, okay, so in that case it didn't have any rotation. Bummer. So if I press the slow motion key now, you can see he's rotating. So we need to make sure that the collision capsule is going to be rotated the same way as our character is. And by character I mean our mesh. So off the event tick all the way to the side here, we have these two places where we set which monitors to play. So we need to set the rotation of the collision capsule so it keeps being oriented the same way as our mesh. So set rotation, and right now we're just gonna do it this set it to the same if we are getting up from the back or in the front, but I can already tell there's a little problem with that. So we want to set this to get the rotation. This is taking a rotation here, so we need a rotation, and we're going to get that from the pelvis by getting the socket rotation, typing in pelvis. And if we just connect this up and play this, as you can see, something weird is going to happen. And the reason for that is the pelvis is going to be sometimes rotated in a weird way. So we are actually only interested in the yaw from this one. So let's disconnect this one and split that open, and then make a rotator. And just borrow the yaw from here and then plug that one in. So now when we run around, right now we are going to be on our back. So here you can see when I press my get up key, he's going to rotate 180. But if I fall on my front, okay, so it's going to be pointing the correct direction. So all we need to do is to make sure that we get the correct rotation here, and we can do that by introducing a variable capsule rotation. A number of ways to make this, but this is just the way that I'm doing it now. So when you're getting up from the front, we're just going to use this rotation that we just picked and connect all this up. like that. And if we are getting up from the back, well, we're still gonna get this rotation, but we are gonna make a different rotator with a yaw plus 180. And connect that one up. So that's gonna create this setup for us. So when we now land on our back, he's gonna point the correct direction. And there's a little bit of sliding when he's getting up, which I'm not really happy about, but I guess that's just the animation. I can't remember. Okay, when we stop the montage, we can play around with this, so it will maybe be a little bit faster. So that means that the blending is going to be a little bit faster. Well, depending on what you're looking for, you want to play around with this. So I think 0.2 may be a little bit better. Okay, so he's going to make a little slide anyway, but yeah, that's because the animation is not ending in the same idle pose as he came from. So if you want to perfect this a little bit, you want to adjust that. One other thing, which I'm not currently handling, is if I get into Ragdoll mode and press again. Actually, if I jump and press 2 times, he's gonna transition, start to get up in midair, and that's something I haven't sorted out yet. Just so you know, I may handle this later on if I have time to do it, but right now, since it is just a debug key, really, it's not anything I am handling right now. So let's see, what else can we improve on this? Actually, one thing we can tweak a little bit is when we, from event tick here, when we start to recover, meaning getting up again, we can play around with this interp speed. So if we set this, for example, to a very high value, or a little bit higher value, you can see he's going to make a kind of a pop out up again. So you can try and play with this, set it really, really low, like 0.5. So that's going to make the transition a little bit smoother, but as you may be able to see, it's going to make introduce a little bit of twitching. And that's because the blending is going to happen gradually, so you want to find a value which doesn't have too much of this visible. So let's see, one seems to be sort of okay. Still a little bit of jittery, so actually, yeah, something you can play around with. I'm just going to keep it to 1 for now. There's something else about the way the physics asset is set up, which I wanted to address. And if we click in here and just simulate, we can see he kind of falls like a sack of potatoes, which doesn't really look good. And there are tons of parameters in here we can tweak. I think I'm gonna talk a little bit about what we can change on this in a separate video. So I'm gonna leave off here, and yeah, talk about the physics, the physics as the FAT editor here, and some of the parameters we can tweak to get this to look a little bit more realistic. Okay, so thank you for watching, and see you in the next. Bye bye.